Scripture policies like. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin, and they've invited me as a guest speaker to talk to some of you guys about how the college application process is and just navigating college in general. So hopefully my slideshow and my little talk today will be helpful for those that are, applying to college or still in high school and stuff like that, right? Can Teddy do an opening prayer for us before we begin? Thank you.
Alright, everyone let us pray.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together on this special Sunday with Kevin as our guest to give a speech about college admissions and essays and financial aid. Thank you, Lord, for giving us the message this morning by Zach about endurance and steadfastness in the face of worldly trials. Thank you, Lord, for helping us maintain your wisdom that you have given to us. Lord, thanks for letting Kevin talk to us and giving him the confidence to be here. May you provide him wisdom, understanding, and knowledge in all that he says so that he can better help us in our processes as we go through high school and we enter into college. Thank you, Lord, for everything, and I ask that you continue to guide us and protect us in the days to come. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, Teddy, that was awesome. Thanks for that opening prayer. So, just a little brief just introduction before I begin. So, my name is Kevin. I just turned 22, so I'm kind of old compared to you guys, but not really. So I graduated from college this past May from Boston University. I was born and raised in New York City, and I went to the church just like you guys. I grew up in the church. So I went to the same church, like Vietnamese church, right? But in Brooklyn, so I attended that. I went to Sunday school just like you guys are, and I grew up there. After attending high school at Stuyvesant High School in Manhattan, I decided to go to Boston University for my college degree in health science and biology. So I'm currently also working as an ophthalmologist technician. So I work in New Jersey right now in the weekdays. So I basically work with eye doctors. And hopefully I have plans to go back to medical school or optometry school next year. So I want to be an eye doctor when I grow up. So if any of you guys are wearing glasses or need glasses, come to me in about 10 years, okay? I can help you out with that. Alright? Prescription glasses, I'll even do contact lenses too. Alright? So just like you guys, that's an embarrassing picture of me when I think that's my high school graduation, so my mom took care of me. I haven't saved. I pulled it up last night. So can I just get a raise of hands? Who is in high school right now? Who's in high school? So a ton of you guys. Any ninth graders? First year in high school, anyone? Okay, a couple. How about any sophomores? 10th grade. Okay, good enough. How about the 11th and 12th graders? Okay. So hopefully you guys find this message or some of the stuff I'm talking about today helpful. And for those of you guys who are in middle school, this is useful information, but just stay in school and you'll worry about this later. So, yeah. Okay. So, what does the college application process look like? So I broke it down into two different aspects. So the first aspect is the technical one, where it's the physical ones where you fill out applications, a lot of stuff like the application itself. We have the essays that you have to write and the supplements. So those are the smaller little essays that you write for each individual college that you apply to. Third, we have your high school transcript. So all the grades that you get from the classes you're taking, all your AP classes, all your AP scores. So those would also be included in your transcript, right? So, and then fourth, right now we have the standardized test scores. So, the 11th, 12th graders, or anyone in high school, you guys have probably heard about the SAT, right, and the ACT. So, that is also a process in your college application. Then we have the letters of recommendations that your school guidance counselors or your teachers in school will write for you for your application. And finally, we have just extracurricular activities. So if you're in any clubs, if you're doing volunteer work, maybe you're helping out at your parents' restaurant or something like that. That will also go there. So that first whole entire bullet list is going to be the technical aspects of your college application, and then you got the second half, which is the financial aspect, right? So as you all know, colleges can be very expensive to attend, especially the private institutions. So we're also going to cover today a little bit about FAFSA and scholarships that you guys may be able to apply to. I think they have a piece of paper passed out about how to access the FAFSA website and how to fill it out. So I can go over that a little bit too. All right, so moving on. I want to emphasize that the college application is a holistic process, and that might be a very fancy word to some of you guys, but it just means that the College Admission Council, when they look at your application, it's not based on one thing only, right? So all those other things that I talked about in the technical aspect, all of those things come together to make up your application. So it's not just one thing that they're looking at. They look at your grades, they also look at your standardized test scores, they look at how good your recommendations are. So if a teacher really likes you and they give you a very good letter of recommendation, then that can also help you in your application, right? So, and your extracurriculars, so what you're doing outside of school when you're not a student. You may be on a sports team, you might be part of some clubs, you might do like science Olympiad, you're in robotics, stuff like that. So what you are outside of being a student is also important to colleges, right? So they take a look at all those things together to decide if they want to accept you into the college or not. So some of you guys might be confused on where you begin. So let's start off from the top. This is probably familiar to a lot of you guys. This website is called the Common App application. So I think they condense most applications to colleges on this website. So if you're going to fill out an application to want to go to a college, this is where you'll start. So you'll probably put in a lot of your personal information, your name, some general questions about yourself. What grade are you in? The specific classes you took. So let's say there'll be a category and be like, oh, 9th grade, what classes did you take? Maybe you took algebra, and then moving on later in the 11th, 12th grade, maybe you took calculus, stuff like that. I kind of forgot what classes I took in high school, but yeah, so the academic portions is you can basically put in your grades. It's just to double check and verify because your high school will definitely just send your transcript with all your grades to the colleges anyway, but they want you to put in what you got. So you put that in that portion. Your contact information, maybe your phone number, your email, stuff like that. Then you fill out an application so they can get in contact with you. If you have parents, your mother, your father, even if you have brothers that attended a specific university, you also put that on there. There's a portion for activities, so you put on what you're doing, why you did it, things you got out of attending extracurriculars, volunteer work even. Some of you guys, I know you guys have internships over the summer, so you can put that on there too. And then there's another area where you can invite your recommenders, which are the teachers that write your letters of recommendation. And then the final thing is probably just the writing/essay prompt. So I'll get into that a bit later, right? So this is a general overview of the area on the Common App application where it says My College. So let's talk about AP classes, which seems to be a very big thing among high school students. So when I was in high school, I was in a pretty competitive high school. So we were very blessed to have a lot of AP classes available to students. I think you can even start to take AP classes in 9th grade for me, so the first year. But I didn't start taking them until my 10th. So my recommendation for you guys is whichever school you are attending currently right now, your high school, I'm not too sure of the circumstances, what they offer, the AP classes they offer, because some schools, they don't offer a lot of AP classes. They necessarily don't have the teachers to teach it. So Try to talk to maybe your guidance counselor, your college counselor, figure out, if you're not 11th, 12th grade, because that's a little late. If you're maybe in 9th grade, 10th grade, find out what resources you have. So what courses at your school right now you're intending to offer. So for me, I went to college knowing that I wanted to be a doctor in the future. So a lot of my APs were science related. So I did take like AP Physics 1 and 2. I took Physics C. I took biology. I took environmental science. I took like the most standard like calculus, BC, stuff like that. So a lot of these courses, they will be helpful for you in college. For me, pre-med circumstances are a little different because when I applied to medical school, they want to see that I took the introductory courses in college. So whenever I got my AP biology, it didn't really matter because I had to retake the course in college anyway. But if you're going into stuff like business, computer science, they have AP classes like AP microeconomics, macro, stuff like that. So when you score well on these AP exams, right, you have to take an AP exam, and you know that they're scored from a 5 all the way down to a 1. So 5 means you did really well, 4 means not bad, well qualified as I said there, 3 means okay, 2 and 1 not so much, right? So you guys might be wondering, like, why do well on these AP exams? Well, if you do well, let's say you score 5 on an AP Calculus BC or AP Calculus AB, you get to skip the first course in college. So like intro calculus in college, you don't have to take it. So that credit will be transferred over to your college, so you won't have to take the class entirely. So that cuts out extra classes you gotta take. Maybe you can head straight into Calculus 2, which will save you time, right, in the long run. So there's different requirements for each college that goes there. I think I have a link in the next slide where it's on College Board, where you can click on that, look up the school that you're planning on applying to, or you got in, and it'll tell you like the requirements. Let's say, I think specifically for Boston University, my school, or if you wanted to skip like introductory bio 1, you have to score either a 5 or a 4, or a 4 on the AP biology test, and then you get to skip that. So the good side of skipping like introductory courses like this is, the financial aspect of college really comes into play, because college is expensive. I think everybody knows that here. Without scholarships, without the FAFSA, you'll be paying a private institution well over 80, 90K this year, everything combined. So it is really important to manage your money. And that's another component that goes into deciding which college to go into, right? But if you do want to cut down on some times, I've seen people take so many AP courses in my high school which they graduated college in 3 years. So they didn't have to pay for an entire year of college. They got out a year earlier. That could save you money, you can get a job faster, and stuff like that. So AP classes are very important, and if you have the opportunity to take them and score well on the exam, you should. So, yeah, so if you guys want to, any of the high schoolers, 11th, 12th grade, maybe you took some AP classes and you scored well on the exams, you can take a picture of that link and maybe look up the colleges that you're applying to and see their policy on what scores they accept on their AP courses, okay? It's pretty simple. If you click on that, it's from College Board. You just put in the name of the college. Right. So moving on to standardized testing, it's been pretty common for I don't know how many years, but even I took the SAT, right? So I did not score that well on the SAT. I'll tell you guys that much. I believe I took it 2 or 3 times. My super score was only a 1490, which is pretty low for my high school because the average in my high school was a 1530. So I scored below average. But I also took the ACT, which is another standardized testing, and I took that twice, I think, and I got an overall 34. So not too terrible there. So this is another aspect of your college application, right? So as you guys know, it's to test you on your reading, writing, math skills in preparation for, basic college reading, writing courses. And so there's 2 sections. You got the reading, writing section, the English one, and then you got the math one. And I think recently they made it so it's all online, right? right? Can anyone confirm any of the high schoolers that took it recently, right? Yeah, so I think that was after COVID. I think during COVID, they didn't want to deal with the issues of like being in person, everybody getting sick, so they just overhauled the entire system and they made it all online. So I think that's that for now. But it's out of 800 for English, 800 for math, and then your total will be out of 1600. I think below that, it also tells you, how much time each section takes, the number of questions there are there. So that's just a basic overview of what the SAT is. So moving on to ACT, which was what I took as well, it's another standardized testing that you can take. I would say if you are a high schooler that is deciding between taking maybe the SAT versus the ACT has another section called science in it that the SAT does not have. So if you're more of a STEM-heavy person, you're good with chemistry, biology questions, and you're not really a fan of English like I was. I scored full on the math. I got 800, but I only got 690 on the English, so my English is not that good. I opted to take the ACT instead, so there's an extra section there. So if you're better at sciences, maybe you can look into the ACT. But I will tell you the ACT is a little short on time. You gotta rush yourself a little more. I think SAT is a little more. It's better for time management because they give you a lot more time. So just keep that in mind. So it's the time, the minutes are for each section all listed on there. So you'll get a sub-score for each of the 4 subsections. So it'll be out of 0 to 36, and then they take the average of the 4, and then that will be your composite score. So you might be wondering ways to prep for the SAT/ACT. You have to remember that these exams are standardized, right? So they're going to be the same year in and year out. They don't really change their format. So I think on the SAT English side, they have a lot of passages that they give you. I think like 1 to 5, or 4 to 5, right? And then you answer some questions about the passages. So my tip for you guys, if you are trying to prepare for standardized tests like this, is to practice, right? Oh, sorry, practice. Practice makes better. There's a ton of resources online that have directly from College Board themselves. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with like Khan Academy, those resources. So they have like past tests online that archived on there. So if you go online, you just click on taking tests yourself and just practice, right? Practice time management, practice answering certain types of questions for each subject. That will really help you with standardized testing in general, not just for the SAT. I was lucky enough that my parents put me in prep school, I think, for maybe 3 months during my junior year after school. So I went to like A+ Academy. I don't know if you guys heard of that, anyone here. So I went to A+ for 3 months to prep for the SAT, and that, I think, helped me out a little bit. But if you don't want to spend money on test prep or any of those, I think I have some resources here if you want to take a look. Practice tests directly from College Board for SAT. There's some links for ACT. And another option, if you do want something more physical, not on the computer, is ordering books, like test prep books. So they're not too pricey, but if you're willing to pay a little bit of money to get an actual book, I think I bought myself the Princeton SAT prep. That was the only one I used, but there's reviews online for a lot of other companies that use prep books. So there's that, right? Just some links up there. College Board, Khan Academy, those are all really good resources. So, yeah. And another option, which they made pretty recently after COVID, was going test optional. Like I said, when COVID happened, a lot of like 11th, 12th graders, they didn't get an opportunity to take the SAT because all the testing centers shut down and all the test dates got canceled. So a lot of them basically did not get a test score, and I think a lot of colleges during the COVID era were like, oh, let's just make it test optional. And what that means is you'll submit a college application without a standardized testing score, such as the SAT or ACT, and they would just weigh your other categories more. So if you didn't score that well on your standardized testing, and the college that you're applying to has an option to go test optional, you may choose to not submit your SAT score, and then they'll probably look more on your GPA, right? Your recommendations, your extracurricular activities. So your other portions of the application will be way more because the standardized portion is taken out. So that is also an option to keep in mind if you're not that good at standardized testing, which I know a ton of people are, so no need to be ashamed of that as well. So that's always an option for students that are applying to college. Okay, essays and supplements. So on the Common App essay, there will always be a section where you write an essay. So this essay will be called like your Common App essay, and it'll be 250 to 650 word limit. Every single year, the Common App will have different questions provided by College Board. So for this year, if you take a look on the right, there's 7 essay prompts that you can choose from to write your essay about. And I'm sure some of the 12th graders have probably looked at this or started to look at it, but it's up there and it's really accessible. Just go onto College Board or just look up Common App essay prompts and it'll pop up for you. So you choose one of that and then write your essay about it. So this one will be, this is the essay, the Common App essay that will be sent to every single college you apply to because it's linked directly to the Common App application, which is sent to every single college you apply to. Yeah. So there's that. If you do have questions on, you don't know what prompt to pick, you need help editing your essay or getting started, I'm also available. I'm not that good at writing, but I can help you guys out and getting that started as well. So there's that. And moving on to supplements. These are additional writing prompts that might be required by colleges that you apply to. So for Boston University, it was 4 years ago for me a little bit. So I think they did have an additional essay I had to write. This is not the case for all colleges, right? So I think I looked up for Temple University, they do have also an optional essay, so you can talk more about yourself, who you are beyond your grades and test scores, because that's more like surface level stuff, right? So a lot of these other colleges that you're applying to, they'll give you an opportunity to write about yourself, or to write about why you want to go to this college, some courses on the campus that you're really interested in, just the school life, the location, why you want to go. So supplements are an excellent way to put your side of a person out there that's not typically seen as a student. So it's just going deeper beyond your grades, who you are as a person, basically. So supplements are a good way for colleges to see that. So it just varies on which college you're applying to, right? And I think on the sheet of paper, you guys also want to go over, what's the difference between early decision, early action, and like regular decision, right? Yes? Anyone confused about that? Any questions on that? You guys are interested. Any of the high schools, I can go over that right now.
Yes, that's actually my question.
Yeah, that was a really good question. I took a look at those. So the 3 categories that everybody came up with: early decision, early action, and regular decision. We'll start off with early decision. So typically, I think the deadline for early decision is pretty fast. It's usually like way before winter break. So I'd say sometime between like October, November, somewhere there. It's probably on the Common App website. I've been so far gone into one life, so I don't really remember. But early decision is when you choose one college that you really want to get into, and you submit your application early for this college. Typically, for a lot of the students from my high school, they applied early decision to Ivy League. For me, I applied to Cornell University early decision, and then they didn't want me, so I didn't get to do early decision. But the big difference is you can only apply to one school early decision, and if you get into that college, you have to go. There's no way around it. If they accept you, you got to go. So it's sort of like you really want to go to this college. That's why you're applying to this college early decision, right? The only exception to that rule is if the financial aid is not good enough or you're paying too much money then you can either reach out to the college and tell them like, I need more money, I can't afford this, or you can just tell them I can't attend because I don't have the money to. So that's the only, I think, valid reason why you could back out of a early decision agreement. You'll sign it once you submit the application that if the school takes you, you got to go. So early decision is for schools that you really want to go to, one school, one chance. Like you put it in, and it's typically very early deadline. Moving on to early action, these are only for certain schools that you apply earlier than regular decision. So you can apply to more than one. It just shows that you're more interested, right? So they give you a little bit of an early deadline, a little before the regular deadline. So I think for me, early action, the ones I applied to Binghamton University. I think there was one, Stony Brook. And there was one for University of Michigan. There'll be a list on the College Board saying like which early action schools you want to apply to. So for the early action, you can apply to more than one. The deadline is just set a little before the regular decision, and they probably are more likely to take you versus early action compared to regular decision if you apply earlier, right? And then regular decision is just standard. Regular decision for any colleges you want to go to, just apply to as many as you want, stuff like that. So that's the big difference between the three. Any other questions on that? Or does that seem clear? Yes.
So for early decision, right? So,
Right.
So maybe like at the moment you want to apply for a college you really want to go. So later on you change your mind, but they told you. So what are you gonna do? You have no college to go.
Yeah, early decision, you have to go. If you get in, there's no other way around it unless it's a financial issue, like money issue. If you get in, you have to go. So think very carefully on where you want to apply to early decision, right? But applying early decision to a good institution like Cornell, Yale, MIT, stuff like that, it gives you a better chance of getting in because it shows your dedication. It's you basically telling the school, if you take me, I'm going to go, versus a regular decision application from another student, right? When you put in a regular decision, it's if they accept that student has the chance or a choice of declining the application or like not going entirely, right? So that's the difference there. Early decision, basically putting out your interest, telling the school, if you take me, I will go 100%. There's no other way around it besides the financial aspect. So that's the difference. So your chances will definitely be higher early decision versus like regular decision. I got into BU, there was something called early decision 2. So that was another early decision, but only for a select very number of universities, early decision 2. I think BU is on there. NYU is also on there. There's a bunch of colleges. There's a list again on College for that. This list is like colleges you can do for early decision 2. So if you didn't make it to school for early decision 1, I think there's another opportunity for early decision 2. So look out for that, right? Okay, great. Moving on. So when you're picking out your colleges, this section on your Common App application. The Common App application will automatically populate, I think, if you look up the name of the school, you open up an application for them. The name will automatically be applied to your side, your screen on the Common App. And I also saw a question on the recommendations for the number of colleges. So it really just depends. For me, I applied to, I think 15 to 20 was for me, that was what I had planned. But I think I dumped like half of them because I got an early decision too, so I didn't apply for like half of them. But my initial plan was 15 to 20. I like to categorize colleges that students are applying to into 3 different categories. So 3 different categories are safety, target, and beaches. So I don't know if any of the high schools cover that. So I'll briefly go over what each of those terms mean in the next slide. So there's a lot of different factors that decide which college you want to apply to, right? So the location of the college is really, really big. where you're going to college. Is it far away from where you're currently living? Are you going out of state? Are you living in state, right? All those can affect your decision on where you want to apply. Cost of attendance, I abbreviate it as COA. This is basically the website on the school basically telling you this is the cost without financial aid of attending this university. So that can also be a big consideration on if you want to apply to the school or not. And your major choice, right? What you want to actually study in college. Certain colleges that you're applying to might be good for a certain major. Like for example, I think Temple is really good for like nursing, that program. So if you want to do nursing, you might be looking into that. So I think Temple nursing is one of the more unique things because a lot of colleges, they don't actually offer nursing programs. So just doing your own research on certain colleges, if they're really good for a certain type of major, I think for Stony Brook, they're really good for pre-med students. Boston University, our business program is really good. So certain colleges have certain majors and programs that are better for you to study in. And that also matters because you got to think ahead, right? If you come from a really good school for like let's say for business from BU, it'll be easy for you when you graduate to find a job because that school is really known for business, for example. So like UPenn, they're all really good for business. NYU business is really good, stuff like that. So those you gotta take into consideration when you apply, right? Okay, so go a little bit further about explaining the three terms that I use: safety, target, and reach. So depending on how strong of an applicant you are, a lot of factors, like I said, go into that. Your standardized test scores, your GPAs, what are you doing outside of school, your extracurriculars, your letters of recommendation. So safety colleges, those are the terms used for colleges that you apply to that you think you have a very, very good chance of getting in. So that can be, for example, let's say like community college here at Philadelphia, just downtown. I think they take everyone. So that's like your backup plan, right? If everything goes south, you don't get into anywhere else. These schools are the ones that will most definitely take you, and you have a backup plan. So you're going to these schools, guaranteed basically, right? So your grades, test scores, they go beyond the averages for the applicants accepted by the school. So those are safety schools. Target schools, these are the colleges that you're applying to that accept applicants that have similar test scores to you, GPAs around the same. So you can go online, look up a college, say like average GPA, average SAT of student accepted into whatever university. So those are your target schools, the ones that you think you have a good shot at getting into, right? And then you got the last category. These are called the reach schools. So typically these schools, they don't apply to too many of them. It's just the ones that you really want to get in, but your test scores might not be as good. Or if you're just top notch and everything, a lot of reach schools can be just Ivy League schools. So even the top students, right, they don't obviously get into Ivy League schools guaranteed. You can have a 1600 on your SAT, perfect GPA, everything looks good from your end. It's still a reach school because you're not guaranteed admissions. You don't have a guaranteed seat. So if those apply to some colleges that you're applying to, they'll be considered a reach school. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So I have a question. So since we are Christian, so how do you consider like Christian college and not Christian college? Like when you pick college, like do you have any standard like?
Yeah. For me, I didn't really consider Christian colleges. I'm not too well versed in that aspect. For me, I think my faith was really grounded. So when I went off to college, away from my family, right? New York City to Boston, it's like 5 hours drive. It's a good distance. So I was away from my family. I've been in church for my entire life. So the moment I went to college, I was in a Christian fellowship. So that's how deeply my faith was rooted. So I was pretty much in Christian fellowship my entire time in college. So it really just depends. Christian colleges, I'm not too sure. There are Catholic colleges that are primarily Catholic. I think Boston College, very close to BU, I think they're primarily Catholic. So those are options you want to look at. When you do research on a college, it has to be very extensive, right? You look at student life. You can look at what students that are currently attending a college are saying online about it. You look at all these different questions. But that would be a Christian college or Catholic college. That would be something for like all students to look into. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that myself. Okay, great. So those are the terms for different types of colleges you apply to. Okay. Okay, big question. Where do you want to go to college? I think I've talked to a lot of the high school students here. Some of you guys are interested in going out of state, want to get away from your parents. I know, I was like that too. I didn't want to be with my parents for a little bit because I lived in New York City my entire life. I need to get out, right? So, some questions you want to ask yourself, like I said before. You want to go to college in-state to potentially save money because I understand Temple University, they have different types of tuition money if you're in-state from Philadelphia versus out-of-state students, right? So if you want to go to college in-state to save money, or you want to go to one that's further away, if you want to grow independent, you want to learn some life skills, being away from your parents, that's also a very valuable thing that you develop in college. Do your parents, the one paying for your college tuition, do they want you to leave state? That's another thing you got to ask your parents. So have a talk with them if you're 11th, 12th grade. Do they want you out of the state, or do they want to keep you close by? So that's a conversation you should have with your parents yourself. How much does the college you want to go to cost on paper, right? Again, we're going online to the college website, we're looking up on paper. The college is telling us how much tuition is going to be. So that's another consideration point. Is the college good for the major that you're applying to? Just like I talked about before. And will you be able to find a job with the degree that you graduate with? And trust me, a lot of these Americans will tell you, oh, go study whatever you want to study. If you're going to college to study history, you're going to graduate and find no job. You're going to be working at Starbucks as a barista. Right? So go to college for a degree that can make you money, even though you might not be as passionate about it, but definitely look for a major that you like to do. So computer science is one. If you really like to be on a computer, coding, video games, stuff like that, computer science is a route. If you like to talk to people, you like healthcare like Teddy, you want to be a doctor or a nurse even, right? So those are viable options. You got to be thinking, after college, can my degree get me a job? And the job market right now, I'll tell you, is very, very bad. It's very hard to find a job. So make sure you go to college for a major that has good potential in finding employment afterwards. So don't go to college just to have fun. You can go to college and have fun, but that should not be your main focus, right? And are you actually interested in studying for what you apply for? Is another thing, right? A lot of questions. So why I chose Boston, this is downtown. I didn't take this picture myself. I have some pictures of Boston I took at the end of the slide, but this is downtown Boston. Boston's a beautiful city, right? Very similar to New York, but it's a lot more walkable. Think of Boston more of like a watered down New York City. New York City is all proud of the subways. Boston is just a lot nicer, it's a lot cleaner, but it is also a lot smaller. The good thing about attending Boston University for me was it was very, very convenient, right? There was a whole entire subway system that ran through our campus. Our campus is not the typical one where it's sort of like in a circle, you have a certain area. Our campus was literally integrated into the city. So it was along a like 1.5 mile, literally just a whole avenue you walk down full of Boston University buildings. So it was just like right into the city, right? So integration was a big part of me. That wanted me to go here, and just Boston, it was close by, not too bad, right? 4 or 5 hours. If you have a 3-day weekend, you could just take the bus back home to New York, and I'll see my parents. So location was another big thing for me. And I just wanted to be a little more independent, you know? When you go to college, you gotta do all the stuff yourself, you know? Doing laundry, I never realized how hard it would be. Every week, you gotta go down and do laundry. You gotta clean your room. You gotta wake yourself up. Your mom's not gonna wake you up in the morning to go to school. You gotta set that alarm yourself. And if you miss class, that's basically money you're throwing into the water. So that's one of the downsides of going out of state or just being independent for college. But there's a lot of pros to it as well, which I'll cover later on. So yeah, that's why I chose Boston, right? Okay. Oh, sorry there. So activities, like I said before, extracurricular activities, leadership positions within clubs, sports, volunteer hours. Are you guys going? What are you doing after school? Right? Are you going home? Straight on the computer? Are you playing video games? What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you guys like to do after school? Tell me. At least the high school kids. What do you guys do? I know homework's take up a lot of your time, but are you guys in any clubs, anything like that? Volunteer? Anyone? Yeah. Does your school offer any clubs, anything like that? Yeah. That's understand. Oh, what are you interested in? You're what grade are you in? 10th grade. Okay, so you got a little bit of time. So you're in 10th grade, prime time to join a club. What are you interested in? What do you want to study?
Probably something with like computer science.
Computer science, right. So even if you're not participating, yeah. So you got like robotics club, anything with computers. No, be the change you want to see. You can go open up a coding club by yourself, and you'll be the president because you opened it up, right? You gotta do that. If you want something.
I did start. I am in the
Student council, yeah, there you go. So that's another good leadership position. You know, while you're in it, what you're doing, you're leading, you show qualities of a leader. That's what colleges have to see, right? And if your school doesn't have any computer coding clubs, you know, there's always options to do personal projects online. I think that's very common, right? So you're coding your own thing. So yeah, there you go. That's good. For me, myself, in high school, I was part of the wrestling team, if you could imagine, from my 9th grade. I was in wrestling, which is kind of embarrassing, but I was too skinny, so in my first match, I got tossed out, and I quit wrestling. So I didn't go back to wrestling, but next year, I went back to track and field. So skinny Asian kid running, that's what I did best. So I was in track and field for 3 years. I did. Let me tell you, let me see what year it was. 2019, I think. Right? I'm the 3rd best javelin thrower in all of Manhattan. So that's a very accomplishment that I like to keep besides myself. So yeah, I was okay. I wasn't the best, but you know, that's something I enjoy and I stuck with it. So time frame is also very important. How long are you in a club? How long are you committed for? I was inside, so let's be out for a little bit as well. So I was very interested in biology, forensics, stuff like that. So stuff like that. Clubs, whatever you're doing, volunteering a little bit at a Red Cross Association. Just explore the current school you're at, your high school. You know, go talk around with people, the teachers, if there's any clubs available. Even if you're helping out your parents' restaurant, like family obligations, you can also put that on your Common App essay. You know, this takes, let's say, like 10 hours of my week every single week because I help out at the restaurant. And your parents have like a Chinese restaurant, sushi restaurant, so you help out there, you can also put that on your application, right? So, bare minimum, if you want to join at least 1 to 2 clubs that you're really interested in, and just go from there, right? Something that you can write about in your application, right? All right. So letters of recommendation. Typically, I think for a Common App, your college counselor will be the one that writes the one that's required for everyone. So all the kids in the school, they're going to write one for every single one of them. This is probably going to be generic, so don't fret about it unless you're really close with your college guidance counselor. They'll probably talk to you at least once about your plans on applying for college, so you can talk to them about yourself when you have a chat with them. And then, in addition to that guidance counselor recommendation, you're going to have to need 2 letters of recommendation to apply to most colleges. Although some colleges might need 3 or more, depending on where you apply. So some recommendations for tips. I personally went off of the fact that I took 1 recommendation from like a humanities teacher, so whether that be English, if you're taking a language in school, Spanish, Chinese, whatever it is, history teacher, so one letter recommendation from humanities, right? And then the other one will be from STEM, so any sort of science course. If you're in technology, if you're doing coding, sciences, stuff like that, mathematics, math teacher. So 1 from each, right? 1 from each. And just make sure, I would recommend you ask from your 10th or 11th grade teacher. Okay, don't laugh at that picture. That was AI generated, I think. But yeah, so you should ask your teachers in either a sophomore or a junior year to write your recommendation. One, because it's fresh on their mind. When you're entering a senior, right, that's when you ask them to write your recommendation. Or it could be right after you took their class. Would you be willing to write me a letter of recommendation? And we'll be like, okay. So typically you like to ask in person or through email, but make sure to talk to them beforehand. So let's say as a junior, you're taking AP biology and you want to go study biology or anything in the medicine field in college, right? So you're going into 11th grade thinking, I need a letter of recommendation from my AP biology teacher. So you pay attention in the class, right? That's what you're going to do. You're going to have a good relationship with that teacher. You ask questions when you're confused. You stay after class, right? You email them frequently. You participate in their class. You make a good relationship with them. That's how you're going to get that letter of recommendation, right? So you really got to really connect with that teacher for them to be willing to write your letter of recommendation. I think for me, I did ask my AP biology teacher. It's been a while, so I'm a little fuzzy on that. And it was either my AP US history teacher that wrote my other one or my AP Chinese. I forgot whatever it is. But yeah, so those are just some tips and tricks. Also, keep in mind to ask them early. Do not ask them to write a letter of recommendation like a week before the deadline. They hate that. And some teachers, they only write a certain number of letters of recommendation. So if they already have 20 students that they said yes to, and they can't write anymore, and you're the 21st student to ask them, they're going to say no to you. So better ask early than late, okay? So keep that in mind. Ask them early and give them a good amount of time to write your letter of recommendation so it can be as thorough, as good as possible, right? Okay, so let's take a short break. Any questions, comments so far? And then we'll go into the second half with the financial aspect of college education. Yes?
So how many AP classes did you take during the high school and
Great
how
question.
much sport?
Oh, sorry?
How much sport like you?
Oh, yes, great question, great question. So, in 10th grade, I took AP World, and I got a 5 on that. That was the only AP that was allowed for 10th grade, so that's what I took. And in 11th grade, I took AP Biology, AP Physics 1. I took AP Chinese too, and I think that was about it. It's been a while, but I got mostly 4s and 5s on my APs. I don't think I ever got a 3, so they were all 4s and 5s. My senior year, I took Physics C, I think. I did not take chemistry, unfortunately. I took environmental science, I took AP Calculus BC, so all 4s and 5s on those. So that helped me did skip a couple of classes, but I had to retake them anyway in college because I wanted to be pre-med. So in medical schools, they want you to still take the introductory courses necessary. So I still, even though I got a 5 on AP Biology and I could skip Biology 1 from Boston University, I still have to retake that anyway because medical schools, they want you to take the class instead of the AP class. So it didn't really matter to me, but I did skip, I think, calculus. I think I skipped Calc 1 and 2, so I didn't take that. Right? So, yeah, AP classes are important. You gotta score well on them if you want to skip classes in college. So, some people, I've had students during my high school years, I still talk to them now. They've taken so many, they took like 15 APs, they took like everything. So, they graduated like a year earlier. So, like, 3 years of college and they're done. So that was a special case for them. But to make it easier on yourselves, right? Instead of usually first year of college, 1 semester, you're taking about 16 credits. So that's 4 classes. If you don't want to take an introductory course, you want to focus on your grades, you skip out on a class, so you're only taking 3 because you already have those 4 credits from AP and your college takes it, then you'll be taking one last class, 3 classes, a little easier on yourself, right? So just all depends on your situation. It's all unique. Right. Any other questions? Yeah.
It's recording. You can stop.
Make you move earlier.
Yeah.
How early should?
That's a great question. So you never want to tell them beforehand. you keep that in your mind, right? When you're starting this AP biology. Let's say in junior year, second half of the school year, you're taking AP biology. Do not go in on the first day and tell the teacher, I want a letter of recommendation from you. Do not do that. They're going to say no because they barely know you, right? So it's a good idea to keep. For me, I asked them right after I finished the class, like last assignment handed in, last exam. Or you can wait till, starting senior year. The moment school starts, hit them up with an email. Go visit them in their classroom. Be like, hey, remember me? And then they'll strike up a casual conversation with them, right? Just talk to them naturally. And then just slide it in there somewhere, oh, would you mind writing me a letter of recommendation for college? And then most likely they'll say yes. So there isn't a time frame on how early, it just depends on, what the situation calls for. So usually right after you finish your class, they put your grade in, you did very well, you got a good score on your AP because your AP teachers can see what you got on AP. So if you did well, they'll be like, oh, it's thanks to your teaching I did so well on the AP. So you can ask them that. Or it'll just be the start of senior year, like everybody else. But don't wait too late on the start of senior year because that's when everybody's scrambling to find their teacher too. So that's a great question. Anyone else? Any of the students here? Any high schools? Yeah, go ahead.
So for letter of recommendation, so teachers, right? It will be about you.
It will be about you as a student, yes. And you probably won't be able to see it. You'll invite them on the college board to write the letter, and then you'll just be notified when they submit it. Yeah, so let them know deadlines for when you want to apply to. Make sure it's earlier because if you're applying an early decision, the deadline is earlier. So give them a good amount of time. I'd say minimum 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Yeah.
So it's also for the recommendation letter. So how many recommendation letters do you have? The more the better? Or
It's not the more the better. It's not the more the better. So minimum 2. Usually it's just 2. Some schools they don't even give you an option for 3. Some of them they have 2 teachers. Maybe they're on a sports team, for example, and their coach was with them for all 4 years. So they'll have another slot in there for their coach that writes them a recommendation letter. Even if they're working a job, part-time job, their employee can write you one. It doesn't necessarily more means better. You always want to focus on the quality rather than the quantity. So it'll be better for you to get really good 2 letters of recommendation from teachers that you're really close with. Who did well, they know you personally, right? Versus, let's say, 3 from 3 random teachers, and random courses that you took. So quality over quantity is also, right? Any other questions? Yes, Teddy.
Would you recommend applying for any action or any decision? What are the factors?
Right, so it's a busy time. It's a busy time for seniors. I get it. So a lot of that is going to depend on your own time schedule. Because as you start senior, usually I recommend for students heading into senior year, your summer is when you should be starting your Common App essay and just looking for colleges you want to apply to. As you're in school, you're juggling homework, you're doing all this extracurriculars, and you also have to fill out college applications on the side. That can get very messy and deadlines come very, very fast. So you could say oh, I want to fill out applications today, but you stay late after school, you got a lot of homework, you got a test the next day, right? So everything just gets pushed back. So plan accordingly, And regarding the fact of whether it's better or not, apply to as many as you feel like if you want to get in. If you want to get a decision back early for early action versus regular decision. Because regular decision, the decision comes back very, very late. It comes out March or May. March or April, right? So if you apply early action, you might hear back by January. So it just all depends on your timeline. Do you really want to go out of school, or is it just another school on your bucket list you're applying to? So just your own distinction of whether you should apply early. Yeah, any other questions?
yeah, about the early decision, you got accepted, right? And later on, you found out you don't have enough money to afford it. So will you still be able to go to the regular school?
Typically, that's just a really, really hard question. I think for early decision, they'll give you a decision. Let's say they accept you, they make you sign something. You have to let them know early because typically when a school gives you acceptance letter, they send you something to sign yourself. So that moment you sign it, you're basically saying, oh, I'm okay paying with all this. So there isn't like I don't have money later on down the line type of thing, right? So make you sign something, you put in your deposit, and then you're locked in basically. So there's no other way around it. If you do, however, are struggling financially, you can always send an email to the school that you got into the financial office. I did that for EU. I got an extra $1,000 semester just from writing up my own email. So that's definitely possible with a lot of colleges. So yeah, great. Okay. You mind if I get some water? Yeah. Yeah, and then we'll move on to the fast and the financial aspect, all right? And then at the end, I have some pretty pictures of my time in Boston, so I got some stories for you guys. Sorry, my phone. Right, great. Great, so we're going to move on. All right, financial aid and scholarships. So here's a graph that pulled off the internet of increasing costs for private institutions versus public institutions. So what do you guys see from that? So the line above is 4-year private nonprofit universities versus the line below for 4-year public universities. So what do you guys see from this graph? Tell me, anyone. Anyone else besides Teddy? All right, yeah. It is pretty pricey. What else are you noticing? Specifically for the private schools. Yeah. Yeah. So what are you noticing the price year to year? Yeah. The price difference is massive. So I'm talking. Save the comparison between the two for now. Just look at the private university themselves. So what do you guys notice going on with the prices every single year? Yeah, Teddy. It's going up, right? It's going up. So this only goes up to 2023, but as you can see, it's a trend, right? This tuition costs every single year. College is getting more expensive. By the time you send your kids, if you do decide to have kids to school, it'll be well in the let's say 150, 160K a year. So right now, typically, it's still pretty pricey, but it's just climbing up every year. So I got a little game for you guys, I think. So anyone want to guess the cost of attending Boston University this year? Everything, tuition included. Everything included. So housing, food. Huh? Without financial aid, just raw costs. Don't worry about any guesses. Any guesses? Yeah. 60K. 40,000. 50,000. 6.5. 65K. Yeah. 70.
90,000.
90,000. Okay. Anyone else? Yes. Sorry. 65? 65? Okay. Anyone? Yeah. 80? Okay. Okay. Alright, no more guesses, alright? Alright, it was 90. She was the closest, she knows. So that was without aid, that is how expensive it is to go to BU for 1 year. No aid. Alright. So that's what they have on their website. So this is what I'm talking about when you go on a college's website. They give you their estimate total cost of attendance. So tuition alone was 69K. That's tuition alone. So that's just going to classes, right? So that's very expensive. And housing, $12,000. Very, very expensive. So that's just an overview of Boston University for this year. Any guesses for Temple University? Temple. Yep. Yep. 80K. 80K. It's public, by the way. So automatically, it's going to be lower than Boston University. 30. 20. Okay. 25. 45. 15.
60,000.
60,000. Okay. This is on their website. They have polls. And out of state residents, it was 39. I think overall, wait, this is, 39, and in-state was 22. So a little difference there. So whether or not you go, if you're from Pennsylvania versus if you're going to Temple, like in another state, right? So there goes the money flying away. And one last one. How about Drexel University? 85. 100? 85? Sorry? Okay. It was 86. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so pretty spicy too. Pretty spicy. Yeah, her daughter goes there. So she knows the value, the number of that. Right, so what we're getting from this is that college is very, very pricey indeed without financial aid or scholarships, right? So that's another thing you gotta consider when applying to these schools. So let's talk a little bit about FAFSA. It stands for Pre-Application for Federal Student Aid. So it's this form that you fill out that requires a lot of information. If you take a look at that sheets that they passed out. So it's going to ask you a ton of money questions, right? How much do you have for your bank account? How much did your parents file for taxes for last year? Any assets that they have? Do they own a house? Do they have a business, a restaurant? Are they owning any stocks? So all of that will go into this form, and then the federal government will then assess how much that they can give you based on how much your parents can contribute financially to your college expenses. So they'll give it out in 3 different segments. So it'll be either given out in grants, loans, or work-study programs. So I'll explain those 3 terms in a little bit. So just remember the FAFSA, you have to fill out every single year as a college student. Even if you fill it out when you're applying, freshman year, it's the fall, you gotta apply again for sophomore year. Sophomore year fall, you gotta apply for next year, junior year. Junior year fall, you gotta apply for senior year. So make sure you get a timer, note it down. Oh, when is this application dropping? And the grants and scholarship money they give out, it's first come, first serve. So make sure you fill out as soon as possible, okay? Yeah.
So for the thing is like years, so for example, like during your first year of college,
Right.
when do you put you fill out like
First year of college when you're applying. So when you're applying, you're in 12th grade, you're applying for FAFSA. Yep. Apply this, so it'll count for your freshman year. As you're going into your freshman year of college, it could be the fall, October, November, the application opens up, you apply for your sophomore year. So it goes like that, right? So you gotta apply every single year, the year like a little bit before. It's typically the fall that the application drops, from personal experience, around like October-ish. That's when it usually drops, right? So you fill this out every single year, and fill it out regardless of how much your family is making. Obviously, you're probably going to get a lot more if your family isn't making too much, but even if you own a restaurant, even if you have a business, even if you have homes, fill it out regardless, okay? You never know how much they'll give you or what they'll offer you. So just to explain what grants, loans, and work-study awards are. So grants, you think of this as free money, basically. When the government gives you a grant, this is money directly you can put towards your college tuition. You won't be needing to pay this back, right? So it'll just go straight in there, cut costs. If they give you $3,000, you have $3,000 toward your tuition, right? So no need to pay that back. And then loans, I'm not too familiar with this, but basic understanding of a loan is they lend you money. Let's say they give you a loan option for $30K. So you can use this $30K for college 1 year, but when you graduate, you will need to repay them back. Or as you're going through school, you gotta repay them back. So the biggest goal of getting through college with a good degree that can find you a job is to graduate with as the least amount of debt you can. Because you don't want to be paid back that when you graduate. Even if you have a job, or you can't find a job, God forbid, right? So you can't pay back with those loans. The good thing about loans from the federal government is federal government loans are usually typically lower interest. So you will be paying less back in interest versus if you're going out and going to a private company and taking out a private loan from them. Private loans are going to be easier to get probably, but they're going to have higher interest rates. So you'll be paying a lot more Let's say you paid, you got a loan for 30K. Like at the end of paying everything back, a federal loan you can be paying a total of 40K versus like a private loan and you're doing the same payments, you might be paying back a total of 60K at the end. So interest rates really matter. So take a look into that and read the fine prints before accepting if the federal government gives you any loans, right? And then the third thing that's very common I see with a lot of people applying for FAFSA is work study awards. So these are awards that the school will give to you. You don't get the money automatically, but you'll get it once you go to college and work a job on campus for that money. So I got a work study award of $2,000 during my freshman year. So when I got to campus, I got a job immediately. I was working as a research assistant at a chemistry lab. So they paid me $15 an hour, it was good. So I was just working that. Because work study awards, they're given initially to the school. The school holds it for you, right? You won't get that unless you get a school job, right? So you'll get that money. They'll give you like, let's say they'll give you $2,000, $3,000. The school will hold on to it, and then if you're working a school job under that, then they'll pay you that amount of money. And once that money runs out, you earned everything. You don't gotta work anymore. So, but typically you never earn like more than that. I think I worked like 10 hours every week as a freshman, so it's like not bad. It was like $150. After taxes, probably like $130. But so that's basically what a work study award is. Any questions on those? They're pretty common. Yes.
So my daughter will get work study and so
Yeah.
so for her salary, so they deduct the tax, right?
Yeah, they'll deduct the tax.
Yeah, because they will pay for like $10,000.
Okay, that really just depends on state laws, right? So I think the minimum wage in Massachusetts was $15, so they paid me $15. I'm not too sure what it is in Philly. It's probably a little lower. That's why. $7.50. So they're getting paid a little more, right? So it just depends on state laws. So the university will follow that, right? But they typically take care of all the taxes for you, so they'll deduct everything. The school itself will. Nice. Yeah. So those are the types. So a lot of people are thinking about scholarships as well. I applied to a couple during my year. I didn't know how much I was going to get from every single university I applied to, so I applied for as many as I could. I just went on an internet look, right? But scholarships are really important. That's a website. If you click on it, it's kind of long. Can anyone click on a website? I'll probably bring up a link. I wanted to show you guys that. So this is like they work together with College Board. So there's a ton of scholarship opportunities on here that you can look up. It's all in one, so if they need you to write an essay for a scholarship, what you want to write about, it's all in here. And a very popular one is Coca-Cola Scholars Foundation. If you click on that, I think it's like 50K something. But there is 20K. Okay. There's some requirements, like you need a 3.0 GPA at least to apply. High school senior, you're looking to get a bachelor's degree, which is 4 years, planning on attending school. So a lot of details on there to look for yourself, and they'll typically ask you to write like a small little essay for them, or some of them might ask for even a recommendation from one of your teachers. They want to look at your scores from school, your GPA, stuff like that. So external scholarships not from the school itself are very good to apply for as well. So yeah, take a look at that website. It's just called bigfuture.collegeboard.org. So if you look that up, you got some free time, you look at some scholarships, apply for them. You never know, you might get it, right? Okay, great. Back to the slide. All right, so yeah, this is just a snapshot of my first year. If you look at the first thing, that was 3,000. This is from the school. I think if you go to a college not in your state, you won't be covered by healthcare. So I had to buy BU's healthcare from them. Typically, every single year was $3,000 a student, and it was pretty much a scam because it was a bad plan, and you didn't really get much with it. So I wrote them a letter again saying I couldn't pay for it, so they gave me $3,000 every year to cover for it. So that was things I got taken off. So it was basically a scholarship. What you see in the second and third row, the federal ECOG grant and the federal Pell grant, that is what you get from filling out the FAFSA. So This is back in 2021. So together in total, I made they gave me like 4,400. This is only for half a semester, so they gave me like 4,400 for the fall semester. The student scholarship, this is the one that BU automatically gave me when I applied to them. So a lot of school scholarships, they automatically give it to you if they accept you based on merit. And so what scholarship based on merit, what that means is they take a look at your, so a school has accepted you, right? They took a look at your grades, they took a look at your SAT scores, how good you are compared to everybody else, and then they'll give you a scholarship based on that. So I had a friend, he also went to BU, but his merit scholarship from Boston University itself was less than mine because I think my grades were a little better than his, and we kind of confirmed it. So every single half a semester, I got 30K from them. And then the last one was the 950, the one I emailed them about because I wanted some more money from them, so they just gave that to me too. So that was all the scholarship that I got from my first semester at BU, I think. So yeah.
How does like the scholarship work?
Right, so most of your scholarship, the big bulk of it, is going to come from the school itself. The school will give you this automatically if your grades are good enough, merit scholarships. The federal Pell Grant and the federal SEOG one, that's for FAFSA. That's the one I covered before, these two. This one, the merit-based scholarships, they're from the university itself. So whatever school you get into, if your grades are good, they accept you, they're going to give you money, right, based on your grades. That's what a merit scholarship is. So a good chunk of my tuition was based off of because I had pretty good grades in high school and of my SAT, ACT grades, so they gave me that amount. I was fortunate enough, I think, only paid around $2,000 a year, every single year in college, going to Boston University, so I was very fortunate my parents paid that for me, so I graduated college debt-free. Right, so just an overview of that. Okay, now we got to the portion of college life. After all this, you guys can ask some more questions if you have to. But I have a series of photos following this slide of, my experience in Boston, what I've experienced in my 4 years there, some memories, stuff like that. So when you're going to college, especially away from home, you're probably going to be living with another student, right? So you're going to be sharing a dorm. And that was something I was used to because I grew up in New York City with my brother. We shared a bunk bed. It was always cramped. It was a small room. So I was used to sharing a room with my brother. So I was like, going to college, sharing a room with another student, no big deal, right? So my freshman year, I was on the engineering floor, even as a biology student. I don't know why the school put me there, but every single other guy on the floor was an engineer. And engineers, they get pretty dirty because they don't clean up, right? So this is a picture of my friend and his roommate. So I was good friends with this guy named Kyle. And Kyle's roommate was Matthew, and this guy was a dirty, dirty person. All right, this is what his room looked like 2 weeks into the semester. So this is what his room looked like, right? So this is a big deal, needing change, right? When you're away from parents, there's no one to clean up after you. You gotta tidy everything up yourself. You got trash bags everywhere, the room smelled musty. He was living like that, eating food on his table, leaving stuff out like that. So that's a really big change you gotta take notice of when you go to college, right? You gotta take care of yourself. You gotta do everything yourself. So you sort of develop these skills that are really valuable as an adult, as you go to college independently away from parents. Like I mentioned before, I also joined a Christian fellowship. That's another big thing. If you guys value your beliefs as a Christian, you seek out fellowship with other Christians in college as well, right? So I joined a fellowship called Asian Christian I think Community Fellowship, AACF, and I made a lot of my good friends there. So we would have large groups with a lot of Bible studies on Thursdays. We will have events together. I think I have some pictures of where we went to hang out. So I had curly hair before. I bet you guys didn't know that. That's me in the lower corner. I had earrings too, but I'm not wearing them right now. So Yeah, I met some of my really good friends. That's Anthony over there. That's Brendan. So we have events. We like to hang out with each other, do Bible study. We study together as well, even though we're not studying the same subjects. And that was a picture, I think like 6 a.m. at Starbucks because we were going together on a hike on a mountain somewhere. So I took that picture there. Right? So this is my room. Okay, this is a really great room because my freshman and sophomore dorm is not like this. This is my senior year dorm. So I have the opportunity of living in an apartment with one of my good friends, Kai. And so he's my freshman year friend. So this is what my room looked like on the right. So I have my own room all to myself. And this is our living room. So we had a kitchen, everything. I think this is just the nightlife, yeah. So we were basically, it was an apartment really high up. It was nice. This is my living room. And this is a view from my bed, okay? So I had a really, really great time my last 2 years at EU because, this is just great view outside my window, right? Looking over the Charles River. So a lot of good things, pros of going off to college in another state. You see a lot of things that you might not necessarily get to see at home. You get to explore a little bit. Here is my mom when she came to visit me. I took this with my camera. This is somewhere in Massachusetts. We drove there. The water was really nice. This is downtown Boston. You guys watch basketball. This was when the Celtics won the NBA championship. So I took some pictures of that. So Boston was a really great place for me to go. Here's the nightlife in Boston. Go out to explore. Pictures I took as well. So college experience can be very, very valuable, and I really miss going back to Boston. So if you have thoughts about going to another college in a different state, you can talk to me. If you do decide to stay at home too for financial purposes to save money, that's also a very, very smart move. Staying with your parents, saving money on tuition. Graduating college debt-free, that's probably your number one priority, right? But I had a great opportunity to go to college out of state and for a low cost too. So I saw that opportunity and took it. So here's my roommate is making pizza. I think that's the end of my presentation, right? So any questions, comments, concerns? So thank you for coming to my very brief talk on college, whole entire process of applying for it, and stuff like that. Any questions, comments from anyone? Elaboration. I want to go over some of the questions I know I didn't answer in the back of the sheet. So, right. How many colleges should a student apply to? Is it better to apply to as many as possible and focus on a smaller, balanced list? So that again goes back to the idea of where you want to go. If you want to stay nearby, your list might be a little smaller. If you want to go to different states, your list might be a little bigger. If you're okay, your parents and you're okay with leaving the state to go to college. We talked about the pros and cons of early decision, early action. How important are summer activities or internships for college admissions? To be honest, I really didn't do much my summer years in high school. I think I worked at a restaurant. I want to make some money, so that was that. I think I put that on my application too, but it's not that important if you're doing stuff already in school during the school year, so it doesn't necessarily have to be that crazy. I think I just volunteered at the library. I was a Chinese school teacher for a lot of kids as well, so I did little things here and there, but definitely not too crazy. I would say enjoy your summers as a high school student. If you're doing stuff during the school year, it'll be okay. If my child is unsure about their intended major, how should we guide them? Yes, that's another big thing. That's a really great question. A lot of students, they don't have a good idea of what they want to study when they go into college, and that's fine, right? So whenever you apply to the college and they ask you on the common application, you'll just put unsure or unsure major if you don't know what you want to study, and they'll still consider you holistically. It'll be okay because as you get into college, I think you'll be undeclared for the first year, but you'll still take the most basic classes, right? So basic freshman English, everybody needs to take that, so you're still taking that. If you need calculus, everybody needs calculus, so you'll be taking that. Basic science courses, still be taking that. So it's okay to be undecided because you'll still take, the intro courses for all the required subjects, so you're still not falling behind everybody because that's what everybody's taking as well. So you'll take like half a semester, 1 semester to decide what you want to actually major in, and then you'll take the specific classes for the major. So don't worry too much if your child is unsure of what they want to do before they get to college. Okay? Some other questions. What makes an essay really stand out to admissions officers? That's a great question. For me, I wasn't the best at writing, but one big tip I received from my friends was that you want to have the essay have a big idea and to make it personal to yourself, right? So I think if we go back to the prompts that we had earlier for this year's comment application, we go right here. Right, so let's read some of them. Number 1, some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful, they believe their application will be incomplete without it. This sounds like you, then please share your story, right? So this is just directly telling you, what is a unique aspect of yourself that you would like to share with the admissions officers? Because without it, they'll just be straight looking at, your accomplishments. So think of it as the comment essay as a chance for you to directly talk to the admissions officers, right? So they're just, when they're reviewing the application, it literally comes out as a stack of paper they look at. It's just your name, your grades, your activities on there, and what you write about, what you do with them. So you don't have an actual opportunity to talk to them face to face because there's no interview, right? So you can treat the essay as an opportunity of directly saying to them, oh, this is what's special about me. This is what sets me apart from other people, and that's why you should take me over some other guy that might have the same grades as you, right? So if you make yourself unique, that's what colleges are looking for. They're looking for a unique individual that fits into their system, right? They'll be a good fit. You think that some of the courses that this college you really want to apply to is interesting. You talk about that. You have big interest in this. You might do a passion project on the side. You're coding. You really want to do computer science, stuff like that, right? Some other questions. Let's see. Reflect on a time where you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. What prompted your thinking? What was the outcome? So these are more of like storytelling things, a scenario in your life that you face. So just make those really eye-catching, interesting, that would keep the admissions officer continue to read. So just think of this as another just like a low pressure like English essay. It's only 200 or 650 words, so it's not that long. So just think of the hook. You really want your reader, the admissions officer in this case, to keep reading, right? And to make it stand out, make yourself look special. So just some general tips and tricks on how to tackle some of these essay prompts when you want to choose them, right? And how much weight do AP courses carry in the admissions process? That's another great question. So when the admission officers look at a section of grades, you're also putting what classes you take there, right? So rigor is the word rigor is how hard the course will be. If you have the option in school, let's say to take A-Push, AP US History versus just regular US History, and you decide to take A-Push instead of regular US History, they'll look at that positively, especially if you did well on the AP exam, because you're voluntarily putting yourself in a harder course, and the results from it, if it's good, it's basically showing them like, hey, look, I'm ready for these college courses, I'm doing well in them, and I'll stand out really well to the admissions officers. So just get a good balance between, interest in an AP class, actually taking it, and the options you have available. So rigor is another aspect that the college admissions officers will look at, right? So rigor is important to keep in mind. All right, and then I think there was one last question. Recommendation letters, who should students turn to? Yeah, I talked about that earlier. Teachers you're close with, if you have a coach playing a sport, employees, if you're working a job somewhere, but most likely just teachers and your student counselor, right? Okay, so those are most of the questions on that paper. Any other specific ones? Anything you want to ask me about my life in Boston for 4 years, what I did, how to make friends, how to join clubs there? Oh, what happened there? Yeah, I hope this, yeah, it's enabled.
Is there like any way to influence the roommates you have in college?
Right. So for me, a lot of times you can go. Let's say you get into UPenn, let's say for example, right? So once you get to UPenn, there's a lot of social groups you can join. I don't know what you guys use, probably like Instagram groups, whatever. You guys still use Snapchat, probably not, right? So there'll be like these social groups that you can join on Instagram, let's say, and then you'll just put out looking for a roommate. Tell them when you sleep, how often you want friends over, do you like to keep your room clean, when do you wake up, stuff like that, how are you? So just looking for, you can do that to narrow down your choices of finding a roommate, finding someone that will want to room with you, or you can just leave it up to chance like me. And I got a pretty terrible roommate because he would stay up till 1 a.m. calling his girlfriend on his laptop and I couldn't sleep. So, yeah, so you can always do that, right? You can always leave it up to chance, get a random roommate, or you can try to find someone else who will want to live with you. That's a great question. But yeah, once you make friends, you can just make good friends freshman year. They'll be like, oh, you can tell your close friends you want to dorm together next year, and then you'll dorm together for your sophomore year. So not a big deal. Yeah, but I will always recommend having a random roommate the first year. It's a good character building experience. Any other questions? Anything? Oh, great. Thank you guys so much for having me, okay? If you have any questions about applying to college, this new generation in front of me, a lot of them are in high school, thinking of applying to colleges, or are in the process of work. I pray that my little talk today was very helpful to them, that might give them a little bit of guidance on, where to next, how to implement some of these tips into their application, and just, I hope and pray that my words may be of help to them when they're filling out this, or just be just words of encouragement for people that are not in that stage, such as 9th and 10th graders. So I hope that my message may be helpful to them and give them the best that they can in their future college journey ahead, Lord. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being with me while going through this talk, Lord, and for me to articulate my words and just be authentic as possible when talking with these children, Lord. And thank you for everything in Jesus' name I pray.